Hey guys, Loconate here, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be going through some of the things that over the months of playing Rocket League have really helped me improve. The tips I'm going to give are going to be a little bit unconventional because if I just tell you what everyone else has said before, then what would be the point of watching my video? So just to be clear, these are the things that have helped me personally improve the most ever since I started playing. Some of these tips might not work for you, and that's okay. I just hope that you can maybe get something out of this video that you hadn't thought about before. Anyways, I'm gonna stop wasting your time and just get right into the tips. So tip number one, get enough sleep. You know how some days you find that you can just go for crazy stuff and hit it, and some days you just can't hit anything at all? I find personally that the biggest difference between those 2 days is how much I've slept. If I haven't slept enough or if I feel really tired, I will play absolutely awful. Tournaments are really hard to do, ranked is really hard to do, and it's really hard to focus on improving. But when I'm well rested, I usually feel like I'm making all the shots that I should be making, and sometimes even better than that. I'm making crazy shots that go in my montages, which, you can check out if you're new to the channel. But getting back to the matter at hand, getting a proper sleep schedule and finding out how much sleep you personally need is super important. And how much sleep you need may be different from person to person. Like for me personally, I need 7.5 hours sleep, but that could be different. Maybe you need less, maybe you only need 6 hours. Find that sweet spot, try and figure out what days are you playing the best and how much sleep you got the day before. And I promise you that will help you so much in your consistency. Anyways, moving on to tip number 2, we've got getting enough exercise and having a proper diet. I feel like this tip of all the tips is probably the one most personalized to me, but for me, when I don't exercise or when I don't eat properly, I just feel terrible and I have no energy. And when I have no energy and I feel terrible, how can I play good Rocket League? There's really not much more to say about this other than if you don't already feel like you exercise enough or if you feel like you're feeling bad most of the time, you should really try it out and see if it helps you feel better generally and then also helps you play better in Rocket League. For tip number 3, we finally have a tip that's related to only Rocket League. And tip number 3 is learn how to improvise. If you ever ask pros what the most important thing to Rocket League is, they will always say consistency. It's all about consistency. But I don't think that's true for the majority of the player base, and I really don't think that was true for me in my journey to becoming a better Rocket League player. For sure, learning how to not mess up is important, but that'll just come with time. For me, it's so much more important to learn how to fix your mistakes when you've messed up, hence improvisation. So for example, say you're going for a dribble and you want to flick the ball, but maybe the ball is moving a bit too fast and the ball drops off your car. Now a less experienced player might think, oh, well I've dropped the ball, but I was gonna go for a flick, so I might as well still try to flick it. But if you're improvising, you'll now say that, oh, the ball is now off of my car, so I should go for a low 50-50 and hopefully force the ball past my opponent. Basically, learning to adapt to any situation you created through a mistake, rather than just following through on what you were originally gonna do. I find that this is most important in ones, but it definitely comes up in 2s and 3s situations. Like for example, in this clip here, I missed the ball. I've whiffed the ball completely. But instead of freaking out and being like, oh crap, what do I do now? I now see that I'm up ahead in front of the ball and my teammate can now pass it to me. So I stay up, I wait for the pass, he passes it to me, and then I get the redirect and it's a goal. That was just me improvising off of my original mistake. Tip number 4 is don't be afraid to take risks. That is, don't worry too much about your rank. For the longest time, I was so scared to play ranked because I was so scared I was gonna lose all these awesome ranks that I worked so hard to get. And it really wasn't until I said, fuck it, that I really felt like I started improving. Almost any time I'm in a rut, it's because I'm not trying out anything new. It's because I'm not taking any risks. If you continue to play the exact same way for a long period of time, you might get really good at playing that one specific way, but there's no way you can expect to simply have things magically change when you're doing the same thing over and over and over. You have to change it up. You have to take those risks. And most importantly of all, you you have to be willing to accept that you're gonna get worse before you get better. When you change something up in your game, at first you're gonna be worse at it. You're gonna be way worse because you're doing something you're not used to. But that's good because you're doing something that you're bad at. And because you're doing it, you're gonna get better at it. And then at the end of the day, you're just gonna be able to say, oh, I had this thing that I was bad at and now I'm good at it. So now I'm a better player overall and it was worth the journey. Tip number 5 is set goals for yourself and break those goals into small manageable tasks. Back when I was trying to learn all the mechanics that there were for Rocket League, like dribbling, aerials, air dribbling, anything, you name it, what I would do is I would choose which one I wanted to learn. I would look up tutorials on it, I would do whatever I needed to do to kind of get the concept in my head. And then every single day, I'd dedicate at least half an hour to an hour of playtime to just learning that one mechanic. And when I say break it down into small manageable tasks, what I mean is when you say you want to learn dribbling, you have to ask yourself, what is it I want to learn about dribbling, especially today? So do I want to focus on improving my flicks? Do I want to focus on improving my ball carries? Do I want to focus on improving my bounce dribbles? There's so much in that one topic. And if you're like, I'm gonna just improve my dribbling, and then you spend half an hour in free play just playing around with the ball, that'll definitely help you, but it's nothing compared to focused practice where you focus on one specific technique and you just grind it out. Moving on to tip number 6, we've got play with confidence. Undoubtedly, the best piece of advice that anyone has ever given me, shout out to Blaze, is that it is better to make a bad decision with confidence than it is to make a good decision and be hesitant. Honestly, I feel like that sentence sums up the whole tip very well. If you are thinking of challenging the ball, you either go and challenge that ball or you do not. There is no hesitating. There is no in between. As an added bonus to this, it's just so much more satisfying when you play with confidence. Like when you go for things and they work, it just feels like, yeah, I did that. But when you're hesitating, you go for something and it works out and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that works out. I don't know, just a small side note. Tip number 7 is accept that everyone makes mistakes, including you, including your teammates. I personally find that this is critical in avoiding getting tilt. When you accept that other people are going to make mistakes and you accept that you're going to make mistakes, when those mistakes happen, you are not as angry about them because you've already accepted that they're going to happen. There's not really much more to say about this other than it'll help you not be toxic and it'll help you not get tilt when you're playing Rocket League, and those are both good things. Finally, we have tip number 8, which is watch yourself play Rocket League. Save replays and watch yourself play. If you already watch high-level players, then when you watch yourself play, you should be able to sort of subconsciously see the difference. And even if you're actively looking for stuff, you can actively find small differences in your play that maybe you hadn't thought about before while you're actually playing. It's so much easier to improve your play when you're focusing your entire brain on analyzing your play and how to improve it, rather than mid-game half focusing on playing the game and half focusing on how to analyze your own game. This should obviously be supplemented with watching pros play, because it's best if you have something to compare your play against so you know what high-level play looks like and how yours differs from that. But guys, I think that's going to do it for all the tips today. Here's a little summary of all the tips I gave. If you have any questions about any of them, feel free to let me know in the comments. This was also my first time ever doing a tutorial type thing, so you can let me know how I did. I really have no idea how that's going to turn out, but hopefully if you've watched this long, it turned out pretty good. Yeah! I don't know if I'm going to do more tutorials in the future. I'll probably do a few small ones, but this definitely isn't a tutorial channel. This is mostly going to be gameplay, sometimes serious and sometimes silly. So if any of that interests you, go check that out if you're new to the channel. But other than that, leave a like, subscribe, peace out, and have a great day, guys. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and watching my videos. Peace out.